Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm Sinead. I'm from Trinity College. I'm doing a master's in applied psychology, and I'm going to talk to you today about the acceptability, feasibility, and satisfaction of an internet-delivered treatment for generalised anxiety disorder. So it was part of a bigger project that's been going on with Trinity College and Silver Cloud Health. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what generalised anxiety disorder is, the rationale for our research, and then what am I going to do next? Oh, and then I'm going to talk to you about the bigger research and then our preliminary results. They're still ongoing. So, yes, it works. Okay. So generalised anxiety disorder, it affects 9 million Americans a year. The prevalence rates range from 0.3 to 3.6% over 12 months. It's twice as common in women and more common in Europeans. It affects moods, thoughts, and behaviours. So primarily what generalised anxiety disorder, or GAD, does is causes extreme or pathological worry in relation to different events, which would be disproportionate to the event. It affects muscles, it can cause muscle tension, sleep disturbances, it can affect cognitive abilities such as decreasing concentration. So it affects your overall physical and emotional well-being. So there is a significant amount of research supporting the efficacy of internet-delivered treatments for generalised anxiety disorder, specifically cognitive behavioural therapy. Some research have shown that participants show clinically significant improvements compared to face-to-face therapy. Also, participants and clients have also fed back to the therapists and the researchers that it's as comfortable and it's more cost and time effective as counselling. So this is where our research comes in. So the only way the improvements can be made is through client feedback. So we can roll out these internet-delivered treatments, and the only way we're going to make practical, effective ones is by getting client feedback, seeing how they feel, seeing why did they drop out, or if they the engagement and what worked for them and what didn't. So there's been a few depression studies looking at the same thing, and they actually looked at self-help versus therapist support. So they found that efficacy was increased with therapist support. So instead of just all depending on yourself, getting that therapist feedback, even if it was once a week online, that actually had clinically significant effect for better outcome. So I just popped in a review and meta-analysis by Richards looking at CBT particularly, and they found that compared to controls overall, there was CBT for generalised anxiety disorder has significantly positive outcomes, both for disorder specific, so internet-delivered treatments tailored to GAD, and then transdiagnostic, so treating depression and anxiety because they're comorbid disorders that occur together. So this was the overall research. It was a low-intensity internet-delivered treatment for generalised anxiety symptoms in routine care. It was a randomised controlled trial. Participants who were students were split into two groups, and the first group were given Space from Anxiety, which was a computerised cognitive behavioural therapy with feedback from a therapist once a week. So it was ran for 6 weeks. The part that I'm not going to get into too much, because the part that I'm interested in, the part that I'm doing, is the final questions and satisfaction with treatment questionnaire. So all participants were given this, and it included stuff like asking participants to compare it to other treatments they may have had, how likely they are to recommend it, what they found helpful, what they found hindering, different questions, trying to gauge where they were and why they were engaging with it in the first place as well. So the CBTs, just to go back for a second, it included things that were specific for generalised anxiety disorder. So it included mindfulness meditation, relaxation, training, different things like that. So the results are ongoing, but preliminary results for the acceptability, feasibility, and satisfaction, we found that over 50% were happy to use a computerized device to access this method of treatment. We found also, I think it was closer to 60% found it easy to use, easily accessible, and so it was quantitative and qualitative analysis. So for the qualitative analysis so far, and the majority of satisfaction were satisfied with it as well. So I think it was 56%. Were satisfied with this form of treatment, 8% were dissatisfied, and there was another 35% who were neutral, so we're in the process of actually linking that to other questions that they've answered to see why. Thank you. So qualitatively, so the main themes that were coming out were pace, time, control, and support. So what this is looking like so far, and what it's looking like it's going to be, is that pace. So what the participants found really important was that they could complete tasks like activity, interactive quizzes, the reflective journals that were involved, all at their own pace, at their own speed. For time, they found that because they were students as well, that they were all over the place, had different college work things going on, and they found that being able to complete things in their own time, be access it, save their data, do whatever, and then come back to it was really important. That feeds into control, which was another theme as well. So having the control to let the therapist only see what they wanted them to see as well. So sharing was completely down to them, and support, the massive positive feedback for the therapist support as well. So what this means and why it's important. So there's a variety of therapies out there looking to treat mental health disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, and then specifically to Ireland. In 2013, the HSC put out an e-health strategy looking at moving to use technology and internet for healthcare. So they wanted to roll out, make it more accessible to everyone and put healthcare through technology and internet. They also, in 2008, did a survey of almost 3,000 Irish adults and found that those most likely to use the internet for mental health or for health information were those who reported mental health concerns as well. So it's really important, and it's really relevant to Ireland specifically to look at these kind of therapies and to look at what works and what doesn't, and especially because they have efficacy to work with people with generalized anxiety disorder. Also, just to conclude, these are important because of looking at generalizability of these sort of treatments. So if you look at other at-risk populations, so if you look at first responders, shift workers, the Gardaí, nurses, they can't access, oftentimes they can't access services 9 to 5. It's also anonymity is so important. So if you look at stuff like that, being able to access it, have control, having access 24 hours a day, these are really important to a lot of populations. So further research from this is actually looking at rolling out services like this, like space from anxiety, space from depression, space from stress, to fields of work like the Gardaí, and that's kind of where we're going from there. So that's it. Thank you.